Here we go. Let's do the slides because we have the obligatory pay homage to the slides because Clippy came from there, and all our AMI masters are drawn from Clippy. So really quickly, the master sheet. I imagine, are we going to share these at some point? You can take a picture instead of getting all the links over here of the QR code to get my information. I won't go through this in any more detail. I think I'll leave it for the folks to follow up later. But let me tell you what we're going to do. We're going to play with some pieces that have something to do with GPT in one way, shape, or form with PVA. And then we're gonna play some more. We're gonna see what some customization that we can perhaps do with PVA and some of the other friends in the Power Platform family. And then we take a rest. No. We'll play some more. We look for some more toys. There's actually some places where you can get more information. And there's some topics that are probably good to know when you're doing this stuff. So if you're looking at it either as a maker or anything else you go through. And then we stop because, well, we got to stop at some point. Let's watch the time over here, and we're doing okay. I imagine from 10 minutes from now, somebody will be going beep, 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 get ready to stop. Maybe if there's time for discussions and questions, we'll see what we got. So let me stop over here and quickly go into play mode because we're going to go play. All right, so I have a big assumption over here. The big assumption is that folks have seen PVA. The folks that are looking at this have seen it before. Maybe they've seen demos, they've seen trials or anything else. You want to know more. If you haven't tried it out yet, the best way to go do it, and here's your first tip. Go to learn.microsoft.com. You remember that AI challenge that I had earlier? Well, actually, it's good for several things. It's good to follow through and go and get introduced. If you're saying, oh, wow, PVA, isn't that a very expensive thing to do? I will show you one of the second tip. The second tip is most everybody can get a developer environment. If you can't, talk to your friendly friends at your organization. And if you can't do that, there's a lot of links, and you can look it up, how to get your own dev tenant and play with it by yourself. The first thing, of course, is to have your dev environment, and you can play all the PVA stuff. I think that's the most major tips. Do not get stuck. Do not think that, like, oh, I can't do it. There's no stopping you. I mean, the only issue is if a feature is not available in your area potentially. And then to that note, a really quick another tip for your PVA pieces over here is the fact that this is changing literally as we speak. And I'm not kidding. This came out last night. I took a screenshot of it because it's out there sitting on the Twitter right now. Where's that picture? Here it is. Let's bring it up. It's a little bit blurry, but over here is a picture where they're showing this concept of plugins, which is coming soon to PVA, where literally it's a conversation. It's everything. Conversation starter, pieces to go in, ready to go. GPT bits, wherein almost no work is done. In this particular case, it's a banking example, and it's all ready to go. This is not here. When you go to the overview somewhere in there, you'll see a link that says, would you like to be in this preview? Click on it, and hopefully they'll give it to you. Just to give an idea that this stuff is happening all the time. So the first thing I do is I usually go to my overview and see if there's anything new. Sometimes it'll say, hey, here's a link. Would you like to try something out? There's something new going on. Or you might see on the top, there's going to be a conference or something. Oh, I don't know, some big conference in Vegas, I heard. You might want to click on it and follow up. So more tips going through. All right, what is out of the box maybe more on the GPT side? Well, the one of them that's obvious when you're creating a bot now, and if you've seen yourself creating a bot, one of the things it'll ask you is for a website. That's a GPT thing, and this is what it does. Let me show you what it does. I give you the example. You go over to system topics. It creates this thing called the conversation boosting topic, and that's it. You don't have to do literally anything else. You may want to turn off, and by the way, I usually do this over here with my topics. I usually turn off the lessons, 1, 2, 3, 4, and make sure that I'm all plain and simple, so I'm ready to go. Another tip, go to conversation boosting. Let's go see what that looks like. And what's happening over here? Here's your GPT stuff that's out there. If you haven't seen this yet, go here and play. Check it out. What can you do over here? You can add websites, multiple ones. Like in this particular case, I'm doing a food friend helper, and I'm adding multiple sites that have recipes in them, because that's part of what I'm trying to get done. What else can be done over here? If you have a Bing custom search information that seems to be available to you, that one might not be so easy to get. The SharePoint, straightforward, point to a list, and that's in. That's also a recent addition. I love that one. Then there's OpenAI services. You have to have all the information about that, create a connection, and ready to go. Yes, you can expand it and go crazy on it. Here's another tip, a word of warning, because the conversational boost does several things. It catches this thing called an unknown intent. But maybe folks that have been here before might see that there's another place that catches the so-called unknown intent, and that's the fallback. The fallback is when something fails, it goes. Now, before they had conversational boosting, another possible tip, if you don't have that, if you didn't select that, and you came over here without it, and you're like, well, how do I create it? Well, and you want to use that idea of like on unknown intent. Unknown intent just simply means I'm doing something that I have no idea what he's asking. Let me go pass it to this place first and see what happens. In the original unknown intent, it would be like, well, I'm asked several times. You've asked the same question. I'm going to escalate you. In my case, I hijacked it and I put my food helper bot. Well, not exactly bot here. My food helper flow is what I did. So yes, actually, I can do that. Remember, a good helper for PVA before all this stuff was going on, it can do a lot of that stuff. A good idea is perhaps just to have simply set up a flow to go do it. So I actually did set up that flow to go look at it. And in this particular case, let's go see that particular flow over here. I should have it over here handy. If not, well, let's go find it. So let's go into the flow details. Go ahead, open it up from scratch. Interesting one to see in this particular bot helper. All right, so you basically go to the flow and let me go into the edit mode and show you in this particular case, one of the things you can do, and remember, you can do things straight up with the GPT stuff that's in there, but here's a big tip. If you guys are working on the Azure side, if you're working on straight up HTTP bits, you can actually connect to whatever you have going in your organization that's already doing it. And the thing is, you would basically you simply have to prep a request to get going. I'm going to go through some of these later because this is actually more important tips to go through. Let's see. So in this particular case, I'm just simply passing it on to this particular system, and that's all great and well. So that's what this is doing over here, taking advantage of the fallback action. I think I'll give you a better tip for this one, which is going forward, you're going to want to, and this actually behooves you now, to actually create topics to start capturing this information and being more specific and using the Copilot to help put those things together. Because you have to fine tune it. Needless to say, when I did it just this way, conversational boosting and using fallback, those are quickie ways to get a POC or something going. You'll have to go back and do the work. At some point, yes, all this work is done for you. There's still going to be something left to do, and you're going to want to do that. So that's going to be the next tip on there. All right, after that, we want to be able to use our bot in quite a few different ways. One of the things I like doing over here on the bot, when I see whatever instruction, remember sometimes it says, hey, hello, I'm this bot over here. I like being able, this is a nice quick tip. I double click on it. It takes me right away to the trigger, and I can go in and I can muck around with the message right there immediately. Nice little quickie way of getting around to do stuff. So that's another tip. Yes, we're mixing and we're going all over the place over here. Let's see, what else can I do with this stuff over here? I could do a Power Pages thing. Let's go do a Power Pages thing out of this. What can I do? From the overview area, I have a way to take a look at some of the pieces that I have. Let's go see where I can get some of this information. All right, for generative answers, I can view the solution. I can learn more. Well, that's fine. I can do, of course, testing the bot, the how to build the bots. All that information is over here. And for some reason, I'm not sure if my viewing is not visible over here. But let's go to the bot details. Some of the things that I look at, change the information about the bot, logging the activities. All right, just giving you a quick tour on where things are. Here we go. I go to channels over here under settings. And I want to use it quickly, for example, in Power Virtual Agents. I basically have to I can do it several ways. One is I can go, well, this is the demo website. By the way, that looks actually pretty cool. Demo website gives you just a sample and says, hey, come over here and try it out. The custom website's what I go to, and I grab this little piece right over here. I can take this, go to a Power Pages site, for example, any site over here, and I have one sort of ready to go. Actually, let me go to the one that I already have going. Hopefully that'll be up quickly. Let's go. All right, in the anticipation that sometimes these take a while to go, it's almost as simple as this, right? See this fast chatbot piece over here that I just put something in? You basically come right in. I'm just going to go to the chat page over here. And I just simply added a component right over here, just an iframe. All right, let me go to the edit code over here, and let's open Visual Studio Code for it. And all I did was, once I created a little bit of text, and that was the quickest thing to do, put a little bit of text, and all I had to do was drop in that iframe instruction right in there, and instantly I had my bot. All right. The second way to do it, of course, is this way: is you can actually create a chatbot. It's in preview right now, but essentially you can create it from this point. Here's a big tip from this area. At the current time, you will actually be creating the bot each and every time. So if I wanted to change what's going on over here, I literally have to uncheck this, check it again, and then it'll create it from scratch again. It'll go to PVA, create the bot, basically a plain vanilla bot ready to go, and it will have the it'll point back to this site as the source. I turned it off, and if I wanted to do what I'm going to do, I just simply have to redo the code. That's for now. I'm sure that's going to change and get out there. But otherwise, it's really cool because it's the same bot. And what does it look like when it's working? When it looks like when it's working, let's go see that. Here we go. It looks like this. All right, so in this particular case, this was the food rater, and it says, I want to rate, let's see, pudding for diabetics. Let's see what it says. This one, of course, is going to our particular piece that goes. Let's take a look at the time. All right. Oh, look at this. It did rate it. It did all that stuff. Hey, 6 out of 10 and everything else. Okay, great. All fine and well. All right, so let's go through some of the few other tips that we can do over here. Some of the quick tips is I had the food application. You can add in Power Apps. It's so easy to add a component. Let's make that a little bit bigger so we can see it, or maybe we should just run it. No, let's go see this closer. Over here, I had that same food assistant, and I just dropped it in here. How did I do it? I went in and I did this plus input straight up, and I found chatbot preview. I just dropped it in there. I could put information about it. So if I go right over here, you'll see I can put a header label. There's not much to this at the time. Currently, again, this will improve. I know it will because that's what they do. But this is instant food instant, I should say, chatbot on an app. Okay, so we saw it on an app. We saw it on PVA. So all the friends can take advantage of this. But in some cases, we may not want a bot because this is actually a very specific kind of use case. Maybe we want to actually have like an application that does something. Oh, I don't know. Let me go leave this app for just a moment. Let's go and take a look over here for another app, and I will look for my blog creator. Where'd you go? Where'd you go, blog guy? I'm doing the very small apps right now, so it's really hard to see all my apps. Here we go. Give me the apps. There we go. Thank you. Here's my blog creator. By the way, you see it says AIC because I created this over here for, and let me hit the I hit the wrong button. Let's go over here for a moment and do edit so you can see what I'm doing over here. What I like about this is that I'm actually using the GPT stuff out of the box. Nothing special. I'm not needing my friend on the Azure side to give me that piece where it gave me all those pieces. And by the way, we have some links over here for some samples. You saw all those like little settings. I basically asked my AI master, hey, what does those things mean? Top penalty, AI temperature, and all this stuff. And it gave me that, which leads to this link right over here. So that while I'm waiting for that, I have that information for you. Let's go back and see if this guy opened up. Yes, he did. So my blog creator over here, in this particular case, the way to get to the apps, in this particular case, I could have dropped in a component or chatbot to point to data and do that kind of work. But in this particular case, I pointed to another flow for the win, flow to help us go. So in this particular case, it's using the create with GPT piece. And this one actually is pretty interesting because I just simply put in the prompt over here and I dropped in the prompt information that's coming in. I'm using the old school Power Apps thing. By the way, another tip, use the new one, the V2. where you can actually control the actual variables. This one is just give me everything, and then you got to muck with it and everything else. So, but I'm only have one value, so I brought it in here. I work it out. I can, by the way, create a prompt from whatever I want. And I want to highlight a very important page that we have out here, which is the fact that there are some sample prompts ready to go that you can go and copy over. And every time you see the start text and end text, that's where your variables potentially would go. I love this site because it has a lot of information so far, and it's growing. I imagine there'll be a way to contribute to it one day. So I could take what's that information, what's in there, for example, come back. Oh, not over here, but right over here. Come back over here. Here we go. And then I could change this, copy paste, and put in the request piece in there, and done. I have a brand new bot with a brand new piece and ready to go. I wanted to show you one more tip before we go. You see your flow checkers when you're doing a lot of this bot stuff will do this to you, and it'll say, hey, you know what? In this case, does not have content approval action after it. So at the end of the day, remember, be responsible. You are essentially releasing a lot of this very powerful technology upon people who don't realize that sometimes the information that they have is not exactly what it probably they should be having or can get or may be correct or anything like that. The whole point of this warning is to remind everyone that this is still something that needs, let's just say, parental guidance, right? It's basically a very powerful kid, and you are the parent. This is the co-pilot. You are still the pilot. All that stuff needs to come into play. There is just recently they added a new approval feature for this that you can add it in to go in. In my case, if I'm doing a quick demo and going through, I guess it's okay. But if you're doing this for real work, be sure to catch it. Okay? And that's it. That's pretty much all the stuff I need to show for now. We were able to cover all the pieces that I had in mind.
I thought you were going to share a couple of tips, Ralph, but you went crazy. That is awesome. Awesome.
A few tips. All right. Well, I think the only other one picture that I didn't show you is that you saw that HTTP thingy that I did instead of the GPT. This is sort of what it looks like. You pointed to your find an Azure stuff. Hey, this is something to do with your Azure stuff. Here it is, right? And all you need is an API key. Look like this, and you're good to go. Pretend that you have the power, or give your friend credit. Don't forget to give your friend credit. That's it.
Awesome. Thank you, Rob. Excellent, excellent demo. Collection of tips and tricks.